Welcome to Grown Dad Business. This is Aaron Kleiber. And, of course...
Yeah.
You guys didn't see the rev up. Jason had a rev up that included a pumping leg.
Woo!
And a close pumping fist.
Like little Tiger Woods.
Yeah, no, not Little Tiger Woods.
Well,
Do you mean,
like,
were you pouring back a drink and you're like, Little Tiger Woods?
Little Tiger Woods. Throw a couple scripts.
Little Tiger Woods, little scripts.
Little scripts.
Couple scripts. I don't know why this came up. No, we're a little excited. Today we decided we're going to talk about who's your team, bro?
Yeah, who's your team?
Who's your team?
Who's your team?
Who's your team?
Right?
Who's your team, dude?
Right.
I travel a lot. People are like, who's your team?
Yeah.
Who's your team? Where are you from?
That's true. That is such an...
Who's your team?
It's a great
that
conversation
phrase,
starter for everybody, right?
That phrase is where that comes from, is when I'm on the road, people go, who's your team?
Yeah.
Who's your team, bud? Like the
and
bartender at the club.
And they'd be blown away if you're like, I don't dig sports.
We'll get into that.
Yeah.
I do have some odd answers for people. But yeah, we're talking about who's your team today, but mostly like, where your kids learn about their sports teams.
Yeah.
How did we learn? Are my kids sports fans? Mm-hmm. And we're bringing it up because the Pittsburgh Penguins are the Stanley Cup champions. Again.
Granddad Business with Aaron Kleiber. That's my dad. Hello! Underpants? That is hilarious. You should mouth to rate and review this podcast or my daddy will go into a deep depression. Going down business with Aaron Kleiber.
Boom. Did you like that boom? I gave it like a
you got a little
wave in there.
Yeah.
If you hear any noise, that is hail
pounding on the house.
That's hail pounding on our house. But yeah, Jace, we're in our new Grown Dad Business air quotes podcast studio.
Yeah,
and I was like, well, we can't really call it the Dad Cave because the old house, we had the Dad Cave because it was in the basement. Mm-hmm. It was a dope game room in the basement.
Yeah.
Now, I think we need a new name for this because now we have I have a movie room.
Yeah.
In my new house.
Yeah.
And what should it be?
I don't know.
I mean, I kind of liked Dad Quarters.
The Dad Quarters.
The Dad Quarters, dude. This is the Dad Quarters, bro.
Yeah. No, you're.
And also, I like Batman.
Of the yeah.
And I don't know why.
Of the two of us,
the Dad Cave,
you're the name generator.
It would be Dad Cave if you like Batman.
Yeah.
But Dad Quarters, I like Dad Quarters.
Yeah.
No. What are you into?
I don't know. I'd have to think about it a little bit.
Maybe we'll just come up with something new every week.
Every week it's just a new,
Well,
hey, we're up for naming rights.
We're up for naming rights, guys.
If you want to
PPG Paints,
you want to
Dad Studio.
Yeah.
The PPG Paints Dad Studio.
We'll put a neon sign outside the door.
The Under Armour Grown Dad Studio.
Yeah.
Hey.
Yeah.
I think we're getting greedy.
Yeah, we are.
I mean, we're hollering at your boy real hard. Like I think last podcast I shouted out Nike. I said, Nike, holler at your boy.
And it was a grilling podcast. It made no sense. We were talking about cooking meat.
Hey,
on a grill.
Charbroil.
Yeah.
Hey,
Weber, holler at your boys.
Charbroil, I love when brand names, they just are like, what are you going to call your grills?
What's it do?
Charbroil.
What? Jim, you're incredible.
Yeah, I know. It's like
he won executive of the year for coming up with the name.
No, last week we did an awesome episode. Jason dropped a ton of science on us about grilling. Check out our It's Grilling Season episode.
I grilled some good stuff this week.
Dude,
I
ate some good grilled stuff.
I did some salmon last night. Wow. I came across an incredible salmon rub.
I've never said the term salmon rub, and now I did.
Yeah, nice salmon rub. It was a cedar plank salmon rub. I got it at Costco.
Cedar plank salmon. I can't say that three times.
Cedar plank.
See what I'm saying? Cedar planked salmon rub. We said that together.
That was my nickname.
And now we're in
college.
love. That was your nickname in college? Cedar planked salmon rub?
Yep.
Be a great dodgeball team name.
Yeah, right. Or improv duo.
Yeah, dude. Cedar planked salmon rub.
That's it. Oh my goodness! But yeah, great episode last week. A lot of good feedback.
Yeah, dude, we have people on Twitter giving us grilling tips,
sending us pictures of their grilled meats.
Yeah, we got so many pictures of grilled meats.
I got a tweet at like 9 in the morning. Guys, is like, I just cracked my first beer and I'm smoking in my egg.
Yeah, and we got shamed for not owning a smoker.
Yeah, pump your
That's
brakes.
cool. I
We're
get
good.
it. I get it, bro.
Yeah.
I'm busy.
That's why I didn't remember when I said
People are different.
I said on the podcast, I was like, I'm not going to get into how people prepare their barbecue when it comes to that stuff because they get personal. But yeah, it's a big week for us.
Yeah, dude. I mean, look, you guys know I've mentioned it before. I mean, I played hockey my whole life. I'm a big hockey fan, obviously, and the Pittsburgh Penguins won their back-to-back Stanley Cup, making it 5 total Stanley Cups, which is pretty incredible.
That's incredible.
And Jace, do you want a meatball hoagie?
I'm good.
Okay,
I'm good.
Because Mrs. Kleiber is doling out.
She's doling out hoags.
Doling out hoags, bro. And if you guys don't know what a hoagie is, you're living in the wrong part of the country.
Yeah.
I'm sorry I didn't call it a sub. Meatball sub. Meatball hoag.
The hoag.
The hoagie.
Grinder.
Yeah, grinders. Whatever.
It's a wicked grinder.
Speaking of hoagies, one of my favorite players on the Penguins, Philly Cheese, Phil Kessel. I call him Philly Cheese because, you know, my friend Andy Picaro, comedian, he's been on here a couple times. We've like joked around how, you know, and a lot of people have, you know, that Phil Kessel's kind of like a chubby guy, a little bit.
Sort of like
just kind of looks like a dad.
Just looks like us. Just like,
Philly,
hey, what are you doing tonight?
I always
said, I gotta go play the finals.
Yeah, I always said Phil Kessel looks like the dude that hits the most home runs in a church softball league.
Yeah. Like he doesn't run the bases.
Nah, dude.
He doesn't designate it.
He just knocks that out.
He's like, I got one of the kids. They run for me.
Like, but he could make it home, but he just goes to third.
Yeah.
Just because he don't feel like it.
Yeah. He just runs off. He's like, I'm in.
So I call him Philly Cheese, and now my son Luke the Nuke wants a Kessel jersey just because I call him Philly Cheese, and he thinks it's hilarious.
Yeah.
But that's where we're at. We're thinking a lot about it, and you know, I thought of that. I thought about it too because this playoffs. Thanks, honey. My wife just delivered me a meatball. My wife just delivered me a meatball hug.
Yeah,
meatball hug, dude.
Look at you.
That was my AOL screen name, dude. Meatball hug, dude.
So that got us to thinking, and we were just sort of talking about, you know what? How do you become a fan? How do you become a fan of a team? What influences you?
This is the first year where my kids became big fans of hockey because I was home. I've been home a lot because we moved into a new house. I'm doing a lot of stuff with the new house.
Right.
So I was able to stay home and actually watch Penguin games at home, which is crazy. It's very rare. And just sit with my wife and kids and watch hockey.
Yeah.
I watched, you know, them win the cup with my wife. My kids couldn't stay up. They fell asleep. But you're right. Like, who's your team? Like, how do people get into that?
Especially people that, and you would be able to answer this as you travel the country more and be able to talk about somebody like we live in a sports market.
Right.
You know what I mean? Like we live in a sports market.
Great point.
And so, you know, through birth, in a lot of ways, that's how we become fans of certain teams.
Oh, right.
And especially growing up in the era that I grew up in, you know, I was born in the 70s, so living in Pittsburgh, you're a Steeler fan. I mean, there weren't options. You know, for like my daughter, you know, she said to me, and she's a huge Penguin fan, and she said to me, I was driving her to the airport the other day, and she said, "You know what, Dad?" She goes, "I have seen 3 Stanley Cups and 2 Super Bowls.
Crazy.
In my lifetime. In a very short period of time. She's 22 years old. You know what I mean? So we were kind of spoiled early on. I was never a baseball fan, but you know, that wasn't something.
And I've said that.
Yeah.
I've said before, I'm like, oh my gosh, like as an adult, as a sports fan, I've experienced 2 Super Bowls and 3 Stanley Cups.
What do you mean?
As an adult.
Oh, as an adult.
Right.
Yeah.
Like I remember the Penguins back-to-backs in the 90s.
Sure.
A little bit.
Yeah.
And I remember just being like so excited that, oh my gosh, my team, like Mario Lemieux, the guy I love, has the Stanley Cup.
I remember
thinking that.
I remember 2 Super Bowls.
My favorite player has the Stanley Cup. Like, oh my God.
Yeah, I remember. I mean, I'm old enough to understand. Like, I remember, you know, the last 2 Super Bowls of the 70s.
Really?
Yeah, well, mainly because one of them was actually on my birthday. I think it was. I want to say that they played the Rams in the Super Bowl that year. I'd have to fact check that. But
I am in the middle of eating a meatball.
But it's fine. I'm carrying the weight here. So But I remember it sucking that the Steelers were playing the Super Bowl on my birthday because my birthday cake was like Super Bowl, and then my name was like etched in the bottom of the icing. And at halftime is when they gave me my presents, and then once the game was back on, I was sitting in the corner playing with my toys by myself.
Hilarious.
Because I was young. I didn't give
It's your birthday
shit.
and your whole family's cheering
I want
for
to say
the Steelers.
I want to say I was 5. I think it was my 5th or 6th birthday is when that went down.
Right.
But yeah, I would say that.
Wait, how old were you when the last 2 Super Bowls?
What?
Oh yeah, 79 and 80. Mm-hmm. Oh, okay,
Yeah.
that makes sense, dude. I'm like brain dead right
Yeah,
now.
yeah.
Okay,
and then
I
of
get
course I was living on my own. I was, for 91, 92, 91.
You were an adult.
Yeah, 91. Well, 91. I was in 91. I was in
10.
high school, getting ready to graduate.
Oh, dude.
Yeah.
What a great time.
Yeah, yeah. And I didn't, I didn't grow up in a hockey family. I mean, that was not something my dad would talk about hockey, growing up. And
Right.
like for him, it was nothing like it wasn't something they followed. But yeah, I mean, you had in high school, and then all of a sudden, this incredible thing was happening. Like, you know, so that's how that all came about, is just becoming a hockey fan. And now, I mean, it's interesting. Like my daughter was having a discussion with me of saying that she's just like, when Mario said, we are becoming, the Steelers are cemented as the team of this city. He's just like, but we've got 5 right now. And Lexi said to me, she goes, Dad, she goes, you go down there. She goes, it's a younger generation of fan.
Oh yeah.
And she goes, I won't be surprised that if you see this turn,
right,
over the next however long.
I mean, Steelers, the Pittsburgh Steelers there's a lot, man.
But that's worldwide. I mean,
this is loaded. I mean, I got a lot to say right now.
Yeah.
Because I've gone through this. This sounds weird, but I've gone through the sports journey where, believe it or not, Jason knows, I gave up football.
Yeah.
I gave up football. Mm-hmm. And people are like, what do you mean you gave up football? And this is I'm not knocking, people who love the Steelers. It's just something that I got tired of it. If that makes any sense. I got tired of the NFL. Mm-hmm. I got tired of paying attention to players who beat their wives and don't get in trouble, and people who, like, the players who are committing crimes and, like, not getting in trouble, but then they have weed and then they're suspended. Like, it's like, what?
I know.
Like, their priorities.
Yeah, that's what we got going on right now.
Yeah, there's sirens and...
Yeah, we want a cup.
And I know a lot of people. I've had a lot of conversations. They're like, hockey doesn't have any problems. And it's funny. I had this conversation. Andy Picaro started chiming in. Like, people going, what about Patrick Kane? Hey, Andy's response was, the NFL would love Patrick Kane problems. Yeah. Like, dude, like, like NHL has like a DUI like 3 times a year.
And I think that
not that, like, and I'm not saying that, like, I just think everybody has problems,
right? But before
maybe the NHL is much better at covering up. That's not what the issue is here.
No, that's not.
All I'm saying is, like, I kind of gave up the Steelers because I didn't have time to follow a lot of teams, and I grew up playing hockey, and I chose to just follow hockey.
Yeah,
and I moderately follow football. I'm excited when the Steelers do well. I'm excited for my friends. I'm excited for my city.
Sure.
I just don't pay attention to it anymore.
Yeah.
I don't know.
Yeah, no,
I don't have the energy.
I think that, what us and our topic of being just like how you become a fan. And, and it also, I look at individuals that are at a certain, time of their life where it still consumes them.
Right.
And that's fanaticism.
Well, that was the other thing too, that I even joke around with people when I'm in different cities, and people say, you don't follow the Steelers? Are you a Steeler fan? And that's one of the biggest questions I get.
Oh, yeah.
That's the first. I mean, you've been with me on the road.
I mean, you say you're from Pittsburgh anytime.
People are like, you're a Steelers fan?
Oh,
you Steelers fan?
That's the
Steelers
qualifier.
Fan?
Yeah.
And I'm like, and I go, not really. I mean, I kind
of.
And they're like, what?
Really?
How didn't they hang you? And I'm like, what? Yeah. People have said that.
How did they what?
How did they not hang you in Pittsburgh?
Oh, I thought you said,
like,
how do they hang you?
Yeah, like
that doesn't make sense.
I'm not a Steelers fan. How did they not
but
hang you?
Yeah,
and I'm like,
dude, it's not like I'm walking down the street going, the Steelers. I mean, it's just like, it's okay.
Yeah. And also, it's like we live in Pittsburgh.
Mm-hmm.
We experience a dude showing up to church in the middle of July
And he's-
with black and
yeah.
gold like pajama pants on and a Palomalu jersey.
And he's the pastor.
I mean,
That's
Jason
real.
ain't playing.
That's the truth.
But like, I'm talking in July.
yeah.
You got grown men wearing like Steelers jerseys
Sure.
to like a
And,
nice
well,
dinner out.
Adults, like the women,
Like adults.
when I talk to individuals,
That's weird to me.
In my line of work that I've done,
It's
I have
okay.
people that move here from other parts of the
Yeah.
country to run stores
Right.
and things like that. And one of the things that they will always say is that they are blown away by how many women are walking around wearing jerseys.
I've heard that before too.
Yeah.
And like, since when? Coming from Pittsburgh, I go, since when aren't? Wait,
Yeah.
you don't have
you don't do
female
that?
fans?
You don't do. Yeah, you don't.
Wait, what?
What? Yeah.
Because I remember growing up, like in high school and college, bro. Like, I got a story real quick about my wife. It will lead into that.
Bye bye.
Yeah, my wife. You'd be like, oh yeah, chicks into sports. Yeah, this is the best.
Yeah.
Like, you'd see a girl wearing a Steelers jersey, you're like, oh, she's hot.
My wife will
Good-looking
break down a nickel defense for you.
Well,
That's the level my wife is.
Here's where
at.
here's what first time I went over my wife's house, and I think we went out to dinner, and we came back to her house, and I met her parents, and her dad was watching the hockey game, and I'm like, oh, I'll watch some hockey and hang out with you guys. Here, have a Pepsi and some popcorn. We're watching hockey, and my wife's like, oh man, I remember the phrase she said. She goes, they're forechecking so well tonight.
Boom.
I said,
Drop
girl,
to your
I'm
knees
gonna
right
get
there.
you pregnant. I'm gonna get you pregnant and marry this girl. I was like, I love this.
Yeah. I was watching the Final Four with my soon-to-be wife.
That's what I'm saying. Your wife,
My wife
you and your
looked at me
wife
and
are
she
really
says-
into NCAA.
Well, we love to watch. We've never. We might have missed a couple in the 20 years that we've been together.
Right.
We might have missed a couple Final Fours. We enjoy watching them. It's sort of something that cemented our relationship too, because she always said my reaction to her when she goes, "Mike Bibby, is he a true freshman?" And I looked at her and I go, "What? What?"
I know, right?
Like,
You're like, oh, what you need, girl?
Yeah, like, because it is something for us to understand. Like, I'd understand that, that she would understand the Steelers. She'd understand. She'd be a fan. And it's exciting to be able to have those conversations and to share those experiences, because I don't know what it's like, and some of people listening probably do.
Right.
Guys, you sit there and you're like, the only time that I get to we're not in the same room.
Yeah.
It's something I've experienced with my wife. I mean, I've sat there and we got tickets to go see the Steelers play the Colts in the playoffs before Super Bowl 30 when they shocked the world. And I went mainly thinking just because
you were there for the
I was there for when Bettis fumbled at the one
and
the kick,
Jerome Ben Roethlisberger
tackle.
shoelace tackle.
Yeah, I have that poster with our tickets.
That's
and all
right.
that
Yeah,
good stuff,
that's right.
that picture.
You do. That's right.
But my wife, it's just like it was a gift for me for my birthday, but it was more like it was a great weekend for us to go.
Yeah.
And we went into it thinking, I was like, I just want to see Peyton Manning play too. As a Steeler fan, I went in going, we are not winning this game.
Well, I mean, you got a guy that's going to Hall of Fame quarterback.
Plus, they beat us by like 50 earlier in the year on Monday Night Football. But anyways, so yeah, it's exciting, and I don't understand, like, it's great to be able to share those experiences with our loved ones and with our kids. And real quick, there is a great picture from another local comedian here, Mike Travers.
Oh, yeah.
Where he has pictures of him and his boys.
Yeah.
2009, 2016, and 2017, all on the south side of Pittsburgh, celebrating their Pens wins. And it actually made me cry. I looked at that and said, oh my gosh, those
cool,
are experiences that sports create within families.
And our friend Mike Travers, he's a comedian, does a lot of funny songs on like the WDVE morning show and whatever. You can see him all around this area. And but dude, he played hockey his whole life. He actually played with my wife's uncle.
Oh wow. Okay.
Yeah, I know, right? And his boys don't play hockey, but they're big into sports. So that is so cool. Yeah, I mean, I would have those on my wall.
Oh, those pictures, I cried.
Can you imagine if you had your kids and then with the Stanley Cup every year?
Yeah.
Think about that. What if you knew somebody that you had a picture from everyone with you and your kids in the cup?
I have one with my son. JC was really little because they could when they'll come through your town and tour with it, and you can go and wait in line for it. But I have one for when he was a baby, and then I have one with them in 2009 with it as well.
With the cup?
Mm-hmm.
So you've seen the cup and touched it?
Yeah.
Dude, F you, dude.
Yeah, twice.
Well, I haven't. I have not, and I'm upset.
Okay.
Because I really want to. So, hey,
Our
anybody out
just
there?
Took a weird turn.
Yeah. Anybody out there have any access to the Stanley Cup this summer? Holler at your boy.
Oh,
hard.
If you were sitting in a Rite Aid in Sewickley and
I
Sid
know.
Crosby walks up behind you to buy Milk Duds.
I know.
That's nuts.
I want to get into like the whole kids thing and sports and like how do you bring your kids up a team? How do kids come up loving a team?
And the differences between us growing up and how we became lovers of fans versus how kids today become fans.
Because dude, like I wasn't a Pirates fan because I played baseball a couple years when I was a kid, but they sucked.
That's the
like it was really hard to become a fan of a crappy team. Yeah. I remember a kid, like I had Barry Bonds cards and stuff, and like I liked collecting things like that, but I just stuck with hockey.
That was
that's kind of what I fell into.
That was like the apex of my fandom with the Pirates, and then after they blew up, I was done.
Well, speaking of Pittsburgh Penguins Stanley Cup, this is I'm gonna real quick. We're gonna do our holler at your boy segment. Pam pam pam.
Time to pay the bills.
Yeah. Little couple shout outs. First, I found some amazing shirts online, and I had to hit them up. You got to check out Erie Apparel. Go and you can check out Erie Apparel on Facebook or erieapparel.co, like company, co, erieapparel.co. And Erie is spelled like Lake Erie, E-R-I-E, apparel.co. They have a couple collections of shirts, incredible shirts. They have an Erie collection, and I'm a fan of Erie because I perform at Juniors all the time, and I love that place. Great and Erie's club. A cool little town, great club. They have if you love the city of Erie and Lake Erie, they got a little collection of those. They have Pittsburgh shirts, and right now they have awesome Stanley Cup 5-time champion shirt, and then they have a shirt of the Pittsburgh Penguin, like the logo, carrying around the Stanley Cup. I got one of those. It's incredible. They have some Ohio shirts.
Yeah.
Ohio, Cleveland Cavs shirts.
Cleveland Cavs stuff. Really nice stuff.
Yeah.
Really different designs. They're fun.
Yeah. Baseball. Yeah. I mean, they got, the Indians, the Cavs. They even have some Reds.
They did have a couple Browns things.
Cincinnati
too.
Reds, Cleveland Browns. Stuff. Also, they got some Keystone State collection. They got a Keystone State collection for the state of Pennsylvania.
Good blends, too.
Yeah,
good
bro. Let's talk about. Jason said, "Dude, I can get with these shirts because it's a 52-48 blend," and I'm like, "That's the most grown dad thing I've ever heard." But also, Jason, you are correct.
Yeah.
And correct.
Yeah.
Because a 52-48 blend in a T-shirt is a solid goddamn blend.
Son of a
hey, Jace, let's not forget minimal shrinkage.
Minimal shrinkage.
And that's what we're really looking out for.
That's what we're going for.
Go check out Erie Apparel, their new Stanley Cup shirts and their other line of shirts, erieapparel.co. Check it out. You can save 20%, Jace. Dude, on a $15, $20 shirt, awesome. Not bad. 20% off with the coupon code DAD20.
DAD20.
Yeah, DAD20.
Keep it simple for us. Yeah. Hey, who gets it? Dad. Huh?
Hey,
how much you get?
Father's Day's coming up.
Yeah.
I mean,
that's this
weekend, bro.
That's this weekend. 2 days. 2 days from now.
Yeah. So grab a shirt for Dad. Dad20. Coupon code 20%. erieapparel.co. And then I got to hit up. This is incredible, people. We met Bear of Pennsylvania. Bear of PA.
BEAR.
Yeah, it's an acronym.
Yeah.
Yeah, it's for their like father company. It's pretty rad. Bear of PA. It's a family business. They've been going for 21 years. They build play sets, playgrounds, basketball systems, trampolines, safety surfaces, and they just came and installed my kids' new playground. My kids were out playing on their playground at 8:05 a.m.
It's beautiful.
Dude, it was incredible.
Yeah, we met him at the home show.
We met him at the Pittsburgh home show.
We seen their display. We walked up on them. And we're like, my God, this is beautiful.
You heard us talk to them on the home show podcast we did.
Yeah.
Amazing people. Ryan came and installed it actually gave me a hand in putting down my landscape fabric, and I did all the rubber mulch and all that stuff. And he was super helpful. The dude was a machine. He built it so fast.
He did it by himself?
Bro.
He didn't have somebody with him?
I handed him like 2 screws. He built it himself.
Get the hell out of here.
Dude, he built it himself.
You should have time-lapsed that.
A huge playground by himself. That's actually a great idea. Bear of Pennsylvania, Bear of PA. You can go to bearofpa.com. Check it out. They like I said, Ryan, pro installation, right? They do 12 months, same as cash financing. And check this out. If you go and order something right now with the coupon code, keeping it simple, GDB, dude. Grown Dad Business. Yeah. Coupon code GDB. You can save $100 off of your purchase.
Good deal.
Of $999 or more.
Nice.
I mean, playgrounds are expensive.
Yeah, they are.
But $100 off, dude, that's no joke.
Yeah.
That's so coupon code Grown Dad Business. And the next episode, I might bring my kids on to talk about it.
Yeah, see
how
the week's gone playing on.
And I posted a ton of pictures on my Facebook page, on my Instagram at Aaron Kleiber, and there'll be more. I'm going to post a lot of pictures of Erie apparel shirts. Check those out, and also Bear of PA and my kids playing in their play sets. That'll be good times. So thank you guys so much. Holler at your boy. Pam, pam, pam. I love it. So I'm getting into this. So Jason, right out the gate, I didn't have a dad.
Right. We've established that.
So, dude, like I played hockey, and I didn't have like a dad who was like, yo, you love the Steelers. My wife's dad, she, her dad, diehards, he's a blue collar worker, drives a concrete truck. You know what I mean?
Sure.
That's what he looked forward to, was his family and his favorite teams playing every weekend.
Yeah, and I mean, and he's a Steeler fan, right? I mean,
he's
a Steeler fan. So
of
I mean, that's
course.
that's
the shrine.
That's the story of the
that is
fandom
the story.
in Pittsburgh. If you understand, if you don't, you get what it was.
Why are people diehard Steelers fans?
Because at the time when we were winning Super Bowls in the 70s, was at the same time they were losing their jobs.
Right.
The steel mills were shutting down, and the only hope, the only thing anything during the week that was giving them anything to be excited about was watching the Steelers.
Even before they were shutting down, I mean, even before that, like even the early 70s, I mean,
they weren't
getting there.
They were starting to put the pieces together.
But
Joe Green, Terry Bradshaw were being drafted, so you started to it became. That's when
Pittsburgh was in the 70s was a blue collar, kind of a sad town.
Oh yeah.
I mean, we all talk about the rebound that it's made, and it has
incredible.
Been. It's incredible.
It's incredible right now.
We have Google here now and Uber doing research and
driverless cars.
Come on.
Nice.
But that's what happened was it was the thing that they could look forward to.
So we were born in an era where it was here you go. Yeah. You now have a terrible towel as a blanket.
Yeah, absolutely. Where moms were crocheting black and gold doilies.
Yeah.
And, we still have people in our families that have old Steelers black and gold like placemats, and the grandmas would crochet pot holders that had Steelers helmets on them. I mean, that's just how it was. And I'm sure there are big fan bases, I guess, like the Red Sox probably have something like that, the Cubbies, those big city fan bases. But that's what's fascinating about Pittsburgh fandom, is that we're relatively a small city. Now, granted, our city of Pittsburgh is a small city, but then Allegheny County is pretty much Pittsburgh.
Right.
But then again, I mean, you can go 3 hours anyway, and it's all Steelers. I mean, unless you go to that little panhandle, West Virginia, and I did a show there one time in Wheeling, and I was like, someone like booed I was from Pittsburgh, and I'm in like Wheeling, West Virginia.
Like, my gosh, you
that
were
little
basically
finger
a suburb.
I said, wait a second. I said, you're in the middle of Cleveland and Pittsburgh, and you chose Cleveland? You could have chose any team, and you chose Cleveland? Yeah. But whatever. That's cool. I like Cleveland peoples. By the way, moment of silence for Cleveland peoples, our friends.
Yeah.
That was tough.
Yeah, I wanted to see them repeat. I wanted to see the Cavs win, and it's I don't get into basketball. We don't mess with basketball much here.
No, I mean we don't have a basketball
team. It's not something we've ever been ever been involved with. But I wanted to see that happen, and I was, we have some friends that are Cavs fans, and we love the city of Cleveland.
Sure,
I love it. I am the rare
Hot Sauce Williams.
That's
dude.
cool.
Speaking of Cleveland, I'm going to be headlining at Hilarities. I already did.
Yeah, last night it was a good show.
It was a great show.
It was killer. Sam's the best out there.
Oh my gosh.
Oh my God, yeah. No.
Hopefully we'll be getting back to Hilarities with our stand-up GetDown show.
Yeah.
I just headlined there last night.
Yes.
And I'm in Columbus tonight.
Yeah.
And then Friday I'm at Comedy Royale at Arcade Comedy Theater, and so is Jason.
Mm-hmm. Yeah.
Little dad show.
They're getting nuts. They're not
Dude,
ready for this.
They don't know what's
They
happening.
don't know what's up.
They don't know what's happening.
We were talking earlier too about how generations have changed now. With when I grew up, you didn't have a lot of access to watching a lot of games. It was very regional. It was very regional, and now kids are prone to take on maybe another team versus the region that they live in because they have that exposure. A good example was my son. He took to the Yankees.
This is an interesting point, dude. I love this.
He took to the Yankees because he took to the Yankees and he took to USC as a college for two reasons. One, and they're exactly the same. No, oh, hell no. OJ? What?
Jason, I'm making jokes. We're comedians.
Oh, it was OJ.
This is too serious.
That's too soon. That's too soon.
Okay, too soon.
No. He liked the Yankees because that was the team he played with on MLB The Show on PlayStation.
Sure.
And he was a fan of USC because Reggie Bush was a dominant son of a bitch on college football on PlayStation.
Hilarious.
So growing up, that's all my son said. I'm going to USC.
Yeah.
I'm going to USC. Why are you going to USC? Because he was dominating people on PlayStation.
That's so funny too, because when I travel around, people say, "Are you a Steelers fan?" Blah blah blah, and they're like, "Oh, you're from Pittsburgh?" I'm like, "Yeah." They're like, "Oh, I love the Steelers," and I'm like, "Oh, are you from Pittsburgh?" 50-50. They'll be like, "Oh no," and I'm like, "Where are you from?" They're like, "Oh, Albuquerque," and I'm like, "I'm from Michigan." I'm like, "How are you a Steelers fan?"
When were they born?
Exactly. Because they were 10 years old in 1979.
Yeah.
And the Steelers in the middle of the 70s or whatever, they were in middle school or high school, and they were like, that is the best team, and I want to be a fan of the best team.
Why do you think
Because my team sucks.
Why do you think there's such a following in Mexico?
Right?
Because that was the only thing they seen that on television.
Right.
And so they have a huge fan base in Mexico. And, of course, so do the Cowboys, because the Cowboys at that time,
and the Raiders,
America's
too.
team, those were the teams of the 70s. So, yeah, it definitely
But that's what I hear,
that.
too. People say, well, it was either the Cowboys or the Steelers, and I picked the Steelers.
Yeah.
And, because, they're like, what am I going to pick? Like, Green Bay? Like, they sucked. Like, or whatever. You know what I mean?
Mm-hmm.
Like, people always say, like, oh, when I was a kid, I didn't want to root for the Browns. I wanted to root for, a good team. Or whatever. You know what I mean? It's just fascinating how that happens.
Yeah.
I mean, maybe that's not why I'm not a diehard Steelers fan. I mean, I started getting more into it, honestly, because of my father-in-law.
Yeah.
He's diehard into it, and, and I love him like my dad. And so, yeah, that makes sense. I get into it like that,
How old were you when Lemieux came?
Oh, gosh. I was like 4.
So they won the cup when you were how
They
old?
won the cup when I was like 9 and 10.
Holy shit.
Yeah. And I remember it, like I said.
Yeah.
But yeah, I mean, that's a big deal, man.
Yeah, those are the moments where I forget how young you are.
Yeah.
You know what I mean?
Yeah.
In those moments, I'm looking at you going, "Oh, holy shit! Like,
Yeah, dude.
what?"
Yeah, I was 10.
Yeah, we were
10 and 11.
We were rolling to the airport with our girlfriends to go see them come
That's
back
crazy,
with the cup.
dude.
And
I
you
wish.
I was thinking,
No, I was at Tina's house because she was babysitting me in Carrick.
Yeah. So I mean, there's what influences fandom. I like to talk to more people that don't, like I said, that live in markets that don't have any. I don't understand college fandom.
Okay, now
That one gets me a little, like, I'm talking
I got
hardcore.
a couple more things to touch on,
I got
too,
a couple
with kids.
friends that are hardcore college. Like, they didn't even go to that college.
Yeah. So the okay, maybe this is gonna get a little hatey, judgy.
Yeah.
Y'all don't make sense.
Right?
Like, for you to like some 19-year-olds playing basketball or football
To the point where it's consuming you.
from
like
a college that you didn't even go to,
Yeah.
that's weird.
Yeah.
Like I had a buddy growing up who was like insane about Notre Dame.
It never went.
No, he didn't go to Notre Dame at all.
Yeah.
I think he went to like Cal U.
Yeah.
But like I was like, oh, did your dad go to Notre Dame? He's like, no. He's like, my dad loves Notre Dame. I'm like,
my dad was the same way for me.
Why?
My dad loved Notre Dame. My dad loved Notre Dame because they were Irish
Catholic.
and they were Catholic.
Yeah.
And Dad's
I've heard that. I've heard that.
And that was like the guys from the church every year took an annual pilgrimage with the priests with a whole bunch of Jack Daniels on board and got cranked up to go see a Notre Dame game. And you know what? I hated Notre Dame. You know why? Because my dad loved Notre Dame.
That's so odd.
That's how some of my other like peripheral sports fandom was based off of me wanting to have a competitive thing with my dad.
Now here's the okay. Now let me play devil's advocate real quick. Okay, so okay, so I like soccer. Okay. I like watching soccer. I like watching football.
I love watching soccer.
I love watching the World Cup.
World Cup, let's do this.
Occasionally, if there's a game on, I'll throw it on. Especially when I perform on Norwegian cruises.
Yeah.
There's always soccer and rugby on because they have international stations, you know, there. Yeah. Well, they have like whatever. They have some satellite, like world satellite that has like the major stations all over the world. And I just love watching regular old international football. You know, and maybe some rugby. But, okay, so how do I pick my favorite team? You know, maybe I didn't go to college, but I like, you know, college basketball. Or it's another football to get into.
Yeah.
So you just pick a team.
Yeah.
I mean, I guess you do. But I guess the college thing is what makes me kind of like, what? Is like you should have some connection to it, right? It's a college. Because –
I guess it depends. I mean, there was a time where I was a big fan of Michigan.
Right.
Because at that time was the Fab Five. And they were my age, and they were dominating the world. And they were like, they changed the whole culture within basketball. Fashion changed because of those guys in Michigan. So at that time, I liked Michigan a lot. But I just grew out of it. For me, I just couldn't stick with college.
I mean, you know, like I remember watching Lionel Messi play when he was 18 years old in the World Cup. And they were just talking about how he's going to be one of the best players in the world and blah, blah, blah. And I was like, wow, I love this guy. He's fast. He's like, I just loved him. And then whoever he played for, I just kind of followed and, you know, checked up on them, watched a game here and there. You know, it's just kind of how that happened. It was like, oh, this one guy, I really like watching him in the World Cup. And then I just watched his teams. Yeah. But it's not like... But what we're saying is that's like if I just had like, you know, covered in Argentina gear and then I've got like, you know what I mean? Like team colors everywhere and I'm wearing scarves. Yeah. Like, you know, and it's like.
It doesn't make sense.
Yeah.
To get that deep into it.
It even doesn't make more sense that I went to a college and I root for another college. Like, it's like well, I don't know. Anyway, so our kids. Let's finish off with, like, I was telling you before, like, I think this is the year.
That they,
I think next year I'm going to take them to a Penguins game.
Yeah.
I do. I think I'm going to give it a Christmas present.
Yeah.
I'm whispering because my kids are here.
Yeah. Well, how old will they be then?
Well, by next year, my kids will be 9 and 7.
Yeah. Definitely on the 9.
But here's the thing. But, like, and I know what you're saying. Like, oh, you know, Luke the Nuke might be a little too young. Dude, they sit here. They watched whole games.
Hockey is a different.
My kids know their numbers already. They ask all these questions, and I'm not sitting here like, see that? That's Daddy's favorite guy.
No.
Look at that guy. Yeah. We're just sitting here. My kids are very inquisitive. They like to know things. And they're like, oh, who's 87? Is that Crosby? Oh, Crosby. Okay. Yeah. And him and Lemieux were probably the first players they heard from me talk about.
Sure.
You know, and now they're like, they know numbers. My daughter, who's like, you know, you guys know, the mathematician, she knows all the numbers now. She's like, oh, that young guy, Jake, how old is he?
Yeah.
He's like 10 years older than me.
He rocketed into my daughter's favorite player this year.
Jake Gensel, dude.
Because she's sort of like,
but yeah, there's stuff like that.
He's my age.
So I guess, like, you know, Daddy being excited about hockey, my kids are like into it a little
and
bit.
I think that hockey of all the sports, especially live, and we'll say that to anybody. If you're listening to this, you're like, I don't get into hockey. These guys are talking a lot about hockey. If you have an opportunity to go see
live hockey.
A live professional hockey game, it's a completely different experience. And then from a kid's perspective, there's enough constant action on the ice that keeps them focused and occupied. And then in between, there's enough going on in the arena that keeps them intrigued as well. Because my son was always, and he was probably Becca's age when I took him to his first Penguin game.
Right.
And I just remember like certain songs that would come on and he would be clapping along, he'd be getting into it. And then it was the only sporting event that we would go to that he would just sit and watch.
Yeah, that's cool.
You know, baseball, it was just like, let's go walk around. Let's go
get some nachos again.
Steelers, football, NFL games are an absolute cesspool of hell to ever take your children to.
Do not take your kids.
I don't even like to. I almost get into a fight every time because of just the poor behavior and just the language. It's out of control. Yeah. I've run into a couple of situations at Penguin games, but very minimal things at hockey games. But for your kids, if you have an opportunity, that is a great sport to get them to go see because it is action on action. And you're inside. That takes the elements out of it for you.
What's cool that they won't experience too is an inside building.
Yeah.
With people cheering when there's a goal.
Yeah.
It is not like outdoors.
No.
Now, granted, we've been to Steeler games that were sold out.
Oh, yeah.
I've been
to the biggest of the biggest.
Right.
I've been to AFC Championship games.
Yeah, I've been to an AFC Championship game. And, you know, I mean, when that stadium goes crazy, it's pretty cool.
It's amazing.
But, man, when you get in that building and 20,000 people, like, screaming when they score a goal.
It's nuts.
I mean, whoa, man. It's a fun experience.
Yeah, so, I mean, on the rankings of sports fans and sports that you're going to get your kids involved in to go see live, you know, I think for me, it's hockey is the one that's a surefire bet, especially when they're younger.
Sure.
It's a safer bet, but,
And there's, you know, and we can get into all sorts of debates. You know, people are like, wait, you know, like before I was talking about like, well, why I don't like the NFL and hockey might be better. And there's all kinds of debates and theories and stuff like that. And you can hit us up, whatever. We can talk about it.
Yeah. This was a little bit of a serious one. Not serious, but it was more of like two dads talking about why this is.
Yeah.
Like we got a little philosophical. We didn't crack up any jokes.
Okay.
If you came, you know what, you were looking for some laughs,
come to a comedy show.
Come check us out. We're going to be all over the place.
Where?
We're going to be next Saturday.
Yeah.
The 24th.
Uh-huh.
Big time.
That's right.
Big episode of the Stand Up Get Down. Part of the DVE Comedy Festival here in Pittsburgh.
Sean Collier versus Bill Crawford.
Yeah, Collier versus Crawford. Crawford, Bill is the morning host of the DVE morning show.
He's the comedian on the DVE morning show.
Yeah, and he's going to dip his toe into our weird world.
See how Get Down.
We're going to see how we're going to deal with that.
Also, we're going to have John Dick Winters, Alex Tapiola, Ed Bailey, and Jeff Conkle.
And the Conk Daddy.
Dude, Conk Daddy.
It's a great line. It's sick.
And we just had a great episode with Jeff Conkle. Jeff Conkle is his second child is on the way. And if you want to, since this episode was so serious, go back and listen to the Conkle episode. Because we're just basically grilling Jeff Conkle about having a second child. And then, like I said, our last episode
is about grilling.
Check that out. But yeah, Jason's right. June 24th, Stand Up Get Down at Arcade Comedy Theater. And then let's backtrack. June 23rd on Friday, I'm part of the DVE Comedy Festival show at Club Cafe. And then the day before that, Thursday, June 22nd, I'm headlining Rivers Casino in Pittsburgh. Those are all Pittsburgh dates, which is fine. You know, but you know, I know people listen from out of town, which is why I mentioned Cleveland, but then, you know, I won't it's over. I already did that. But I'm going to be in Rochester. I'll be in Dayton, Ohio. I'll be in Calgary this summer. I'll be in Sarasota, Florida, Milwaukee, and Appleton, Wisconsin. So that's a lot of fun. But other than that, hey, one more time, shout out erieapparel.co for some amazing shirts. Coupon code DAD20. And also Bear of Pennsylvania, playgrounds, all kinds of other things. For outdoors, for your family and your kids. Coupon code GDB for Grown Dad Business. Jace, I have a son of a bitch of the week.
Oh,
and this is us digging into our fandom. And the son of a bitch of the week, is the fans in Nashville. Yeah, bro, I'm pulling it out. I got a one time.
I know.
Rep my team.
Sons of bitches. God.
You guys got to give us feedback. I have never seen an away team throw things on the ice and
hit the cup.
And hit the cup
hit
twice.
The cup.
Twice.
I almost came through the television.
Dude.
Hit the cup.
they hit the cup with debris.
And
the building never even made an announcement like, hey, quit it.
Fuck them. I saved it.
Dude.
I didn't swear the whole damn time. Fuck them.
I was livid. So, Nashville, pump your brakes.
Yeah, pump them.
Slow your roll.
Yeah.
And learn how to be a fan.